Assalamu alaikum dear students. I hope you all will be fine and doing great. I welcome you all to your English revision online class. In today's class, we will do the revision of book exercises of unit number 6 and unit number 12. First, we will do the revision of exercises of unit number 6, which is Silly Old Baboon. So the first exercise of unit number 6, which is Silly Old Baboon, is all about capital letters, full stops and quotation marks. So where we use capital letters, we use capital letters for the word I. Whenever the word I comes, whether it is the beginning of the sentence or in the mid or if it's the end of the sentence, we always use I, the word I, in capital letter. Then for the names of the people and for the names of the pet, like for example Fluffy, for the names of the days of the week like Sunday, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, etc. For the names of the months of the year like January, February, March, October. For the names of the places, for the names of the cities, for the names of the countries, for nationalities, for languages, for holiday names like Halloween holiday, Christmas holiday, Easter holiday, and most importantly in the beginning of the sentence. Whenever it's the beginning of the sentence, at the start of the sentence, we'll always use capital letter. And most importantly, after the full stop, whenever there is a full stop, after a full stop, the first letter of the word would be in capital letter. Full stop. Now what is full stop? Full stop is a mark in form of a dot which we put in the end of the sentence to give the impression to the reader that our sentence is completed, our sentence is finished. A full stop is used at the end of a sentence. Every time you see a full stop, you must stop. Exercise A is on page number 32. As I told you before, that it's all about capital letters, full stops and quotation marks. So sentence number 1 is, I don't know why she does not want to play with us. So there are some errors in the sentences given below and we have to do the correction of these sentences. So in the first sentence, error number 1 is I. As I told you before, whenever the word I comes, whether it's the beginning of the sentence or it's the middle of the sentence or it comes at the end, we'll always use it in capital letter. And in the end, there is no full stop, so we are supposed to put a full stop because our sentence is completed, it's finished. Then on Sunday we eat lots of eggs and then take a long walk. Again in the end we'll put full stop and O of on because it's the beginning of the sentence, it's the start of the sentence, and S of Sunday because it's the name of the day of the week. Then many Canadians speak both French and English. M of many and C of Canadians. M of many because it's the beginning of the sentence and C of Canadians because it's the nationality. French and English. F of French and E of English because these both are languages, and in the end we'll put full stop. I'm afraid to go on the goose train on my own, cried the boy. So in the end, first we'll put full stop and I, again we'll put I in capital letter and G of goose and T of train because it's a specific train, and whenever it's the name of a specific place or a specific thing, then it's a proper noun and we have to write the first letter of the specific thing in capital letter. Okay, then what are quotation marks? Here I want to give you a rough sketch of a quotation mark. Then if a speaker says something or if the speaker had said something, so the exact wording of the speaker is known as direct speech, and we have to put quotation marks. We have to enclose the exact wording of a person, the exact wording of the speaker in quotation marks. So here, I am afraid to go on the goose train on my own, cried the boy. So I am afraid to go on the goose train on my own. These are the exact wording of the boy. So we have to put the quotation marks. We have to enclose the exact wording of the boy in quotation marks. Similarly, please make sure your seat belts are fastened, said the bus inspector. So now these are the exact wording of the inspector. So we have to enclose it in the quotation marks. Quotation marks starts in the end of the sentence and it closes before the comma. Then for please, the P of please would be capital because it's the beginning of the sentence, and in the end we'll put full stop. Similarly, if we all are well behaved, our parents take us to the cinema in Athlone on Friday evenings. I of if because it's the beginning of the sentence. Then Athlone, A of Athlone because it's the name of a place on Friday evenings. F of Friday and E of evenings, and in the end we'll put a full stop. Y F of Friday because it's the name of the day of the week, and evening it's not a general evening, it's a particular evening, it's a specific evening. It's Friday evening. So E of evening would be in capital letter as well. Now common noun and proper noun. So our coming up exercise is about common noun and proper nouns. What is common noun? It's very easy when there is a general used to name general groups, people, places, things and ideas. And proper noun is used to name specific people, place and thing. They must begin with a capital letter. Now what is common noun? The name of a general groups, people, ideas, things, places, etc. And the name of the particular people, specific people, they are known as proper noun, and they always begin with a capital letter. They must begin with a capital letter. So here are some examples of common noun and proper noun, as you can see on your screen. So this exercise is about common noun and proper noun. This is exercise B on page number 32. So we are allotted with a paragraph. There is a paragraph, and in the paragraph there are some common nouns and proper nouns, and we have to pick up those common nouns and proper nouns. So post office, village, stamps, cousin, aeroplane, postmaster, letters and aunt. These all are common nouns because they are general names. There are no specific names. Right? In proper noun, America, London, it's the name of a country. Atlantic Ocean is a specific place and is the name of a person, and Sima is the name of a person. So general things, general name of a general things are common nouns, and specific things are proper nouns. Quotation marks, as I told you before, that quotation marks, we enclose the exact wordings of the speaker. We enclose the exact wording of a person who has said something or who is saying something in quotation marks. For example, leave the door open, mom said. Who said? Mom said. And what are the exact wordings of the mom? Leave the door open. So we have to enclose the exact wordings of the mom in quotation marks. Quotation marks are put around the beginning and at the end of the exact words a person says or the person has said. So exercise C, it's on page number 32. It's all about quotation marks. We have discussed it in detail in the class, in our regular classes, and again I'm going to revise it in the online class. So when is the next bus due? Inquired the frustrated woman. Who said? Woman said. What are the exact wordings? When is the next bus due? When you like to march in the parade with us? Asked the Boy Scout. So the exact wordings of the boy is, would you like to march in the parade with us? So we have to put it in quotation marks. So similarly, the whole exercise is about quotation marks, and we have to put the quotation marks around the exact wording of a someone. We have to start the quotation mark at the beginning of the exact wording of the person and at the end of the exact wording of the person. Idioms. What are idioms? Idioms are phrases, group of words. What are phrases? Phrases are group of words. So idioms are phrases, group of words which people uses in everyday language, which do not make sense literally, but we understand what they mean. So idioms do not have a dictionary meaning. They don't have exact meaning. They do not make any sense, but we understand that what they mean, what they try to say. Like for example, our exercise A on page number 33 is all about idioms. Pass with flying colors means pass with great success. A live wire means a person full of personality. Steal somebody's thunder means take attention away from somebody. Take a leaf out of somebody's book means follow somebody's example. So this exercise C on page number 33 is about one syllable word and two syllable word. One syllable word means a word with single sound, and two syllable word means a word with two sounds. So you all have done it and you all have written your own words, okay? For example, sure, so I have written pure, cure, it's one syllable word and it's making one sound. And when I say two syllable word, it means a single word but making two sound. Say cure. See, say cure. Then trees, freeze, breeze and increase. Roll, cold, gold and infold. Now exercise A on page number 32. It's the checkup exercises. You already have done it. So in the first block, we have to write the words that begins with SH. And the description is also given. Like you buy things here. So it must begin with SH. It means where we do buy things. We buy things from shop. Circle, square, rectangle, these are shapes. Okay, we have to put S with it because they have described as 3 shapes. A woolly animal means an animal with a lot of wool. Sheep, a terrible fright. It means when you are frightened from a terrible incident, so you are shocked. Shouting or shout is also correct. I am repeating: shock, shouting, shout. All of these words are correct. Part of the upper body, so shoulder. Now, in this block, we have to write the words that ends with SH. End of a race, finish. You often do it to a door, push. You do it with a soap, wash, W-A-S-H, W-A-S-H. Money, cash. Many have fins and scale, fish. So this exercise is based on the information silly old baboon. We have to mark it whether it's correct or false. The baboon's feet caught on fire, true. Silly old baboon is a serious poem, false. No, it was not a serious poem, it's a funny poem. He strapped twigs to his arms, no. False. A passing crow spoke to him, yes. It's a rhyming poem, yes, definitely it's a rhyming poem. Smoke billowed out from his ears, no. Smoke billowed out from his rear, from his back, so it's cross. The police chased him for a year, no. The baboon wanted to fly to Mars, no, it's false. He will be passing by Venus at 1, yes, and the baboon has not returned yet, yes. Again, this exercise is related to full stops and question marks and capital letters and quotation marks. We have to underline at least 2 errors in each sentence. We are having fish for our dinner, said Dad. First of all, the D of that would be small. Then in the end, we'll put full stop. And we are having fish for our dinner this is the exact wordings of the dad, so we have to put inverted commas around it. We have to enclose it in quotation marks. When I first arrived in England, I did not speak much English. England is the name of a country, so E of England would be capital, and English is the language, so E of English would be capital. In the end, we'll put full stop. May I please buy a ticket for the train to Lahore? L of Lahore, and in the end, it's a question, so we'll put a question mark. His favorite subject in school are maths and English. H of his because it's the beginning of a sentence. Then M of maths you can also capitalize because it's a name of a subject, and English E. We are nearly finished reading the book Thief. V of W, then after reading there would be a comma, then after a comma we never put first letter in capital letter unless and until it's a proper noun. So the is not a proper noun, it's not a specific word. So T of the would be small, and then thief, it's a name of a book, so we will enclose it in inverted commas, and in the end we'll put full stop. Okay, so there is given a paragraph and we have to read this paragraph, and we have to underline at least 10 errors. Okay, and we have to write those errors, we have to write those corrections above that errors. So first of all, the spellings of the great are incorrect. Then after transport, it's not a question, we'll put full stop. There is a grammatical mistake, they can cheap to buy, no, they are cheap to buy. The spellings of cheap and buy are incorrect. Then after a comma there is a word they, so T of they would be small because after a comma, as I said you before, that we'll never use capital letter unless and until it's a specific word, it's a proper noun. Then spellings of easy is incorrect. Spellings of ran, it's a grammatical mistake, nothing to run, and with to we never use second form of verb. The spellings of the spellings of main, the spellings of to, then after full stop the T of the would be capital because after a full stop we always use the first letter of the word in capital letter. Then the spellings of bicycle, the spellings of to, the spellings of pedal, the spellings of successful, and in the end we'll put a full stop. And again, years ago there's it, so I will be capital because after full stop the first letter of the word is in capital letter. So this was all about the exercises of unit number 6, which was silly old baboon. Now coming towards unit number 12, the watchmaker's shop. So the first exercise of the watchmaker shops is about tenses. You know what is tense? Tense is time. Tense is time, and whatever actions are whatever we say, whatever we perform, whatever we do is our actions. And tenses are majorly categorized into three categories. They are divided into three main categories, into three main groups, which is present, past, and future. Present tense is something that has happened, that is happening now. For example, if your mother is talking to you right now, okay, then past, something that has already happened, the action that you already had performed, the action that has already happened. Future, the action will happen in future, after some time, or after some days, or after some years, uh, after some months. Okay, so what is tense? Tense is time. What are actions? Actions are whatever we do, whatever we say, whatever we perform. And they are divided into three main categories: past, present, and future. What is past? The actions that is happening right now. The action that has already happened is past tense, and the action that will happen in the future is future tense. So exercise A on page number 63 is all about tenses. We have to read a sentence. There are 10 sentences and we have to read a sentence. Okay, and then we have to underline the verb in each sentence, and then we have to state whether the sentence is in present tense, past tense, or future tense. So here I am showing the answers. You have already done it on your box. So this is all about exercise A. Exercise B on page number 63 is about homophones. Homophone means there are two pair of words, like there is a pair of words and there are two words and the pronunciation of the word is same. The words having similar pronunciation, the words having similar sound is known as homophone. But the spellings are different, the meanings are different. So here there are 10 sentences, and in every sentence they have used a pair of words, and we have to underline that word which is suitable according to the context of our sentence. Like for example, if weather is good during the summer, we go to the beach, and beach. So B-E-E-C-H, beach means tree, and B-E-A-C-H means it's a name of a place. It's a seashore. So according to our context, according to the nature of our sentence, the B-E-A-C-H word is correct. So rest of the answers I'm sharing it on your screen, as you can see over here. So in second sentence, D-Y-E, die, P-A-L-E, pale, P-A-N-E, pain. It's a sheet. Pain means a glass of sheet, a sheet of glass. Read, weak. Right, TO2, MAID, maid, means a house servant or a helper which helps you in your households. THEIR, MAIN, main, KNOW, no, BUY, by, and FLOUR, flow. Now apostrophe S. When to use an apostrophe? Whenever you want to show a position, or whenever you want to focus on something, so then you use apostrophe S. It shows possession. It shows possession. For example, this is Tim's wagon. James' socks are dirty. So here in fourth sentence, we are emphasizing, we are showing possession on the word Tim, and we in the second sentence we are showing a possession. We are showing a possession on the word James. And where letters are missing, we also use apostrophe S when we miss the letter. For example, I am, and if we want to write I am in short form, so we have missed the letter A, and in between I am we put a comma, and that is known as apostrophe. Okay. Now exercise C on page number 63 is all about apostrophes. Now we have to read these sentences, and whether we have to say that the apostrophes are used in a correct form or incorrect form in the given sentences. So here are the answers. So for example, it is Shaila's birthday next weekend and she's having a party. So here we are emphasizing on the word Shaila. We are showing possession on two words, Shaila and she. So after she and after Shaila, we'll put apostrophe S. Okay. So these are the answers. Now moving towards exercise A on page number 64. Again, these are idioms. Caught red-handed, caught doing something. Pressed for time, in a hurry. Then by hook or by crook, the quiet time, but one way or the another way. Then calm before the storm, the quiet time before something big happens, and hold out an olive branch, offer friendship. Again, one syllable word and two syllable word, one syllable words. They here are given as some words, and we have to make out of that words one syllable word and two syllable word. One syllable word is a word making one sound, and a two syllable word is a word making two sounds. Okay, now coming towards the checkup exercises. Checkup exercises, in block A, we have to write a word that begins with WH. For example, it can get punctured. So what thing can get punctured? Wheel. A very large sea mammal, whale. A referee needs one, whistle. A color, white. On a cat's face, whiskers. Okay, so in the other block, we have to write a word that ends with SK. Look for information. Ask. It can keep a drink warm. Flask. Useful at Halloween. Mask. A job on your list. Task, and you often do it with S. Whisk. So these are the sentences, and the information given in these sentences is based on our unit, the watchmaker's shop. Long ago there were no clocks. False. People used. It's true. Long ago there were no clocks. True. People used the moon to tell the time. False. The sun is highest at 3 p.m. False. Many cities had a clock tower. True. The bell ringer rang the bell at important times. True. Some watches need to be worn. False. Nobody uses bells to tell time now. False. Jewelers made watches and clocks. False. Grandfather clocks had large clocks. True. The clock tower was the official timekeeper. True. Again, the last exercise is on page number 65. It's exercise C. It's all again about tenses. We have to underline the verb in the given sentences, and then we have to state that the verb in the given sentence is past tense, present tense, future tense. Okay, so here I'm sharing the answers. Like for example, I ate a banana for breakfast this morning. Ate, it's the second form of eat, so it's past tense. Okay, so girls, this was all about the revision exercises of unit number 6 and unit number 12. I hope you understood it and have shared all the answers. So please tally your answers with these answers. And now I'm going to give you homework. So your homework is that you have to learn all the book exercises of unit number 6 and unit number 12. Thank you very much.